In the fields, the bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, begging mercy for their sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah, yeah, Guardo, man. Yeah, that's Black Sabbath, man. What do you know about that? You don't know nothing about no Sabbath. Anyway, this is Sunday. I don't know why I did Sabbath on Sunday. Anyway, this is the Afterfight Afterthought for the Andre Berto Dejan Zaveck fight. And in these, I go over the before, during, and after for both fighters. I start with the winner of the fight, which is the Afterfight, and then I move to the loser of the fight, which is the Afterthought. Yeah, I know, it's catchy, man. Yeah, I invented it. Nobody else. It was me. Okay, so we'll start out with Andre Berto coming into the fight. Has he recovered from the Ortiz fight? That's the one thing they really want to know, because, I mean, that was a legitimate war. And Berto makes for some exciting fights. So, you wonder if the pressure gets on, because Zetes will apply the pressure. If, will he get frustrated in there? Will he have flashbacks to the Ortiz fight? Will he have problems in there? Because in reality, it could affect him psychologically. Can he get through that D of Zetes? Will he be able to break down the wall there? Because I mean, Zetes is he's a professional. He's a pro's pro. He's going to go out there. He's going to keep the tight D, and maybe that will frustrate him and take him a little bit over the edge. And at the same time, can he do that all the while not getting caught? Because we know when Berto tends to wing his punches a bit when he really starts throwing, and he could get caught with those and could get into trouble. And this is kind of a must-win for him too, because if he loses this, then he's looking at 2 losses in a row, and once that starts happening, the title fight guys, they're not really going to want to pick him up. Pacquiao might fight him. So over to Dejan Zaveck. When you start looking at him, he's got the entire nation behind him. His whole country is behind him, and apparently there's going to be about 15,000 of them going to show up for the fight. So it's who is he really though? When you look at him, I mean, he's not overly popular or known in the United States, which probably explain why my views for this video weren't that high, and a little fanfare, for being a champ. He is the IBF champ, and people want to do it. If you want to knock some of them, the IBU, any of them, IBO, those are junk titles. Can he handle the movement that Berto is going to press on him? Will he be able to handle the pressure that Berto likes to put on people? This is by far the best opponent he's ever been in with. So we're going to see how he's really, the real fighter that he is. And can he bring that? Can he step up to the level? Will he meet the challenge? That's the biggest question that they have, is his resume. You just don't know. And that was kind of like with Berto before the Ortiz fight. We just didn't know. And with Berto, he got a lot out of that, Ortiz fight, because people were like, oh, damn, he really wants to fight. Going into the, if he wins, with Zetes, if he wins, many title shots are going to come up. If he loses, he may never get a shot again. It all depends on how the fight goes out for him. If he's completely outclassed, he might as well forget it. You know what I mean? He'll be one of those, well, he only had title because he only fought over in his country and he never really fought anybody kind of deal. But if he looks good, who knows? People are like, oh, he's live, he's real, so that could come. In round 1 there, it started off fast. They were trading right hands, uppercut by Zaveck, good body work done by Berto, body work done by Zaveck right back. But the speed is evident. You can definitely tell that Berto has much more speed. Nice right hands by Berto. They wound up trading a little bit there, and I had Berto winning the first round. Second round was a lot closer. Berto was opening up, banging, and working the body. But Zetes started landing those right hands and hooks repeatedly a lot. So I gave, like, the first half was Berto's round, but the second half was Zetes. And when that happens, when you start looking at it that way, I gave it a draw. That's how I roll. just because you won the first half of the round doesn't mean you win the whole round. In the third round, again another fast start. They started trading right off the bat. Um, you had Zetes was actually landing cleaner head and body shots early, but Berto starts coming back, just banging that body and hammering the uppercuts in. Um, Berto really starts unloading there, and it closes the round well. And I gave that round to Berto, and so that's 2 rounds to draw a round. The fourth round was the best round for Zetes by far. He really, I thought he controlled the round well with his uppercuts and hooks. Berto's still throwing the hooks and uppercuts in there as well, banging the body. Really focused on the body. Berto did a great job of working the body, going high-low. And if you're a fighter, you really want to, or a fan of a boxer, you really want to see him do that, because that's not very often that you do see work like that. And Roy Jones, to his credit, pointed that out. And I gave that round to Zaveck. So that was 2 rounds to 1 with 1 draw. I mean, it was a nice close fight. You really, I mean, that draw round could have went either way. The third round, I thought, could have went either way, but I thought Berto did just enough to do it. I did not see this as a whitewashing. In the 5th round there, Berto again was starting to take control. You could see his cumulative punches. He was throwing more. He would throw more combos. He would get in there and land them. Zetes did great covering up and landing the uppercuts, which was very well in his and the hooks in the right hands. But Berto landed more of them. And when it was all done there, all of a sudden you saw Zetes' face, and it looked like somebody just ran up on him with a razor, man, and just lanced him open a few times, because he was bleeding and bleeding bad, and those cuts were bad that formed over Zetes' eyes. Now they had been, starting to get puffy and swelling, in the earlier rounds, because he was getting hit with a lot of flush shots by Berto. Nobody said Berto doesn't throw some bombs, and his body failed Zetes, not Zetes' heart, nothing like that. But I gave that round to Berto, and in the end I had it 49-47, because that's how I had the fight going that so far. But obviously Berto won, because Zetes could no longer continue, and he was very upset with that. Going to the after the fight there, what's in line for Berto, and you have to think the Ortiz Mayweather winner, because he's on a winning streak and he looks good, and Pacquiao doesn't do that. Pacquiao doesn't fight those guys. So he is looking at, and these are facts, so argue with me if you will. Ortiz Mayweather winner is really maybe even a rematch with Zetes. I mean, that fight had a making of good. Granted, it looked like Zetes seemed to be breaking down a little bit, but man, that was a good 5 rounds, and I don't think anybody would say that they weren't. And I mean, you got Kell Brook, maybe that fight with Mosley now. I think he would be ready for that. Mike Jones. Yeah, hey, Mike Jones, man. You didn't know about Mike Jones? Anyway, that's old school stuff, eh? But Mike Jones would be a great one for him. I mean, exciting fights. Whenever you see him fight, know you're going to get your money's worth when you watch a Berto fight. He's not going to go out easily. It's going to be a war. And that's very exciting, and that's what you can be drawn to. He's the kind of guy that could bring people to boxing. Just saying. I mean, even if he doesn't win all his fights, it's exciting fights. Ricky Hatton wasn't the greatest fighter, but you wanted to see him fight because you knew he was going to war. Same thing with Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, those kind of guys. They weren't the greatest in the world, but they had that fighting style that really appealed to people. Over with Dejan Zaveck, he's got nothing to be ashamed of in this. I mean, he was getting beat up a little bit, but he held his own. He did proud. He let nobody down, really. I mean, his body let him down. He didn't let anybody down. Possible rematch with Berto in the future. You could see maybe the Ortiz Mayweather loser, but that's possible. Pacquiao could probably fight him. And I threw the Kell Brook, Mosley, Mike Jones. He's a very game fighter, and any of those guys. The top one, Said Uli or Cowley, that would be a nice one. It's all open for him. So, he lost nothing by losing. Well, he lost the title. I mean, come on, man, But by this, I think he showed people that he is ready and he's willing to come to the States for the fights. He's not going to back down from anybody, and you're going to get a heck of a fight when you fight him. It's going to be an exciting fight because he's not backing down. He's coming. He's got his tight D, and he throws and he counters well. So let's see what happens there. I did predict that the fight wouldn't go the distance, so you know, little props, you know, would be all right. You know, you know, just saying. So please comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about the fight. If you haven't seen the fight, you need to watch the fight. Don't just go by what I said with the round by round. See it for yourself so you actually know what I'm talking about. Okay? Well, hey, it's Bigragu. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Be my friend. Be Eduardo's friend. He's lonely. Anyway, I'm out.